The reason why I started Kansai Giant is because as a creative, or maybe as much as I hate the word artist, because I think what I do is a blue-collar trade to some extent. As a creative, it's tough to, I think, just keep working for, a company or, some other person, because at the end of the day, we are artists, and if you really want to quench your creative thirsts, I think you need to have full control over, some of your customers' builds, and unfortunately, you don't really get that sort of freedom working for other people. So it was out of necessity, really, that I had to start my own business. And Kansai Giant, Kansai being, a prefecture in Japan where I was born and grew up, it's a bit of a nod to the past of where I kind of came from, and the sort of stylings that I like, the styling cues that I like, that come from that area. And that's what I try and offer some of my customers. I'm Jonathan Okada, and I'm the owner-operator of Kansai Giant. The creative process for a customer is somewhat difficult. Some customers, they want a lot of control over the, direction that a project would take. And then other guys will just say, here's the bike, I trust what you do, I like what you do, just ring me when it's done. And there's obviously a spectrum in between that, but I seem to have accumulated, customers with the same aesthetic preferences and aesthetic taste as I do. So, whatever looks cool to us essentially, and whatever we can make and build to make the little kids inside of us think, wow, that's a cool looking bike, is essentially what we're trying to achieve. Inspiration's a pretty difficult thing. Trying to get some styling cues outside of the industry and, not really trying to fall into the trap of going on Instagram and basically just imitating what's hot at the moment. So drawing inspiration from things outside of the motorcycle and outside of the custom car world, helps a little bit, whether it's buildings in architecture or fashion or even aeroplanes. I quite like aeroplanes myself. The process in building a custom motorcycle is really different depending on what it is, whether it's a chopper or a cafe racer or a street fighter. But when you're building a motorcycle from scratch, essentially, it's pretty difficult to know where to start. I personally like it when you've got the wheels, you've got the frame, and you've got the suspension, and it's sitting where it's going to be sitting. Essentially, you've just got to join the dots, between the wheels and fill in the blanks. And there's no set formula to building a motorcycle. Like every time I build one, it's different. I approach it a different way. It all depends on what mood and headspace you're in, really. Custom bike build can go anywhere between 3 months if you're on it full time to 2 years sometimes. So depending on what you've been through in that period, I guess as a human, your style and taste changes over time as well. So you can generally see, stylistic differences between a bike builder, from 10 years ago, or what they were building 10 years ago as to like the present day. My most recent bike that I finished for myself is a 1962 Harley Davidson Panhead. And I finished it for a bike show in Sydney at the start of the year. And straight after the show, I took it to Tasmania and rode it around Tasmania with friends and customers for 2 weeks. What makes me ride with confidence? When building motorcycles, I don't skimp on the attention to detail, and I think it's the level of my workmanship that gives my customers peace of mind.
Bendix Moto. Ride with confidence.